3D printing and where I have gotten into it, how I've gotten into it. My name is Matthew. I'm an intensive care physician based at Wollongong Hospital Intensive Care Unit with backgrounds in both emergency medicine and intensive care medicine. In the role that I have at Wollongong Hospital, one of the roles is as the simulation director for our SIM program, which we've been running for about the last 4 years. It's still a program that's in evolution. It's started off a bit rocky, and as you'll see, it posed a couple of challenges, which were part of what led me to 3D printing. I'm not an engineer, nor am I a programmer, and I have no real background as an IT specialist. They're not my job descriptions. And the only reason that I bring this up is the implication that if I can do this with no background in any of these things, then pretty much anybody can. If you had the power to make anything, what would you make? And I don't need anybody to answer that directly right now, but just have a think about it. And as a way to sort of figure out what you might do if you had that power, is I thought we'd have a look at some industries around the world and how they've adopted 3D printing. So there's certainly plenty of archives out on the internet where people make trinkets, little models and things that they test their 3D printer out. And really they're figuring out, what can I build with this thing? Some of them are pretty complex and interesting, but effectively they're just models that sit on a shelf and collect dust. They make for good tales at Christmas. There are, however, commercial industries that have taken on 3D printing and certainly moved ahead in a more commercial way. So one of those is the fashion industry. There we go. And they are certainly an industry that are known for pushing boundaries in a creative way. And 3D printing caught their attention because they're interested in form and function and being able to play with creative geometries and creative materials. So certainly fashion has taken on with the 3D printing industry. An area or an industry close to my own interests, motoring and the motorsport industry. Again, an area that's known for its high-tech precision engineering, pushing boundaries between creativity and exact measure. And again, they've got needs here in terms of being able to have rapid design testing and custom fittings. So this isn't just producing models for the sake of producing models. This is producing components that actually have function and are required to work within nths of degrees of measurement. Because he's particularly in motorsport talking about winning or losing a championship based on parts of a second. So these are functional components. The construction industry is also interested in 3D printing. Again, it meets a couple of needs here, complex geometry, construction, and automation being two of the major ones. So you don't have to just load up plastics into a 3D printer, you can load concrete into it. And really then the limitation is how big a printer can you build and what range does the print head have? Now, immediately you can see a problem with this in that if you want to build a really big house, you've got to build a really big printer. And then you've got problems with how do you construct that printer? How do you disassemble it? How do you transport it around? So there is a group in Singapore, a university, I think it's called the Nanyang University, and they had a look at this problem. What they did was they loaded up 3D printers onto mobile robots and coded them with AI code so that each of those robots knew where each other was in space. Part of the construction had already been built. And so now you don't have the limits of just one single printer. You can build a house of any size because this swarm technology allows the robots to carry the 3D printers around to the part that needs to be built.